Hello. Please ignore everything about me. I just came back from the beach. It's 9 p.m. and I thought it would be a perfect time to actually film my spoiler-free review of the Twisted series by Huang. I'm just gonna apologize briefly for my physical appearance right now. It's not the worst it's been, but it's not the best. So let's get into it. This video is going to be fully spoiler-free. It'll be my review of the series as a whole, as well as the individual books. So I'll be giving my thoughts on pretty much everything. I'm gonna make a family tree and like put it on the screen so that you know how everything is connected. My thoughts on the series as a whole are as follows. Would I recommend this series? Yes, I would. Are there stronger books than others? Yes, there are. I feel like you can really say that about any series. People are going to pick and choose their favorite. Was this the strongest series I've ever read? No. They're easy reads. They're fun reads. I wouldn't say they're too heavy, but there's some trigger warning situations in these books. I'll go into what the trigger warnings are for each book once we're talking about them individually, but if you like broody, I don't want to say romantic, dramatic romances, this series is for you. I feel like there's a lot that Miss Anna could have improved on in the sense of how it was written. Not each book individually, but the series as a whole. I don't want to ruin the series if you haven't read it yet. So there's obviously pros and cons to any book on earth. Does the good outweigh the bad in this series? Absolutely. Let's get into each book individually. We'll talk about which one was my favorite, which one was my least favorite, and some details about the books. There are 4 books in this series. This is the first one, obviously. It follows Alex Volkov and Ava Chen. Alex is like this self-made billionaire CEO. He's got like a crazy high IQ. He's a genius, but he was orphaned when he was a kid, so there's a lot of underlying trauma in his personality. He's basically living his life to avenge his family that were murdered right in front of his eyes. Ava is this traumatized college student who really has no recollection of her trauma except through in her nightmares, kind of, and so we follow Alex and Ava's story while they try and navigate their own life, and they end up having to be in this close proximity situation when Ava's brother Josh leaves for this medical internship across the country, and he leaves Ava in Alex's care because Alex and Josh are best friends. I gave Twisted Love 3.5 out of 5 stars. Here are the themes for this book. Brother's best friend, forbidden romance kind of because it is brother's best friend, good girl bad boy, broody CEO, some nightmare scenes in this book. I mean, the cover literally says he has a heart of ice, but for her he'd burn the world. So pros: quick read, easy read, fun read. Honestly, did not struggle through this book. I didn't have to force myself to pick it up, so that's a pro. Cons: Alex, some of the stuff that he would say in this book, it was giving me the ick, and I feel like Anna tried to romanticize trauma so hard in this book. It was kind of giving...
I'm a weirdo. I don't fit in, and I don't want to fit in. Have you ever seen me without this stupid hat on? That's weird.
To an extent, it was giving that scene from Riverdale. And you know what? I'm not taking it back. I said what I said. Disclaimer for this book: there's a good amount of kinky smut, okay? And nothing like out of this world, but I feel like it's an acquired taste. If you don't like smut, you are going to have to skip over a couple of parts in this book, more than a couple probably. It takes up a good bit in Alex and Ava's story, so trigger warnings for this book. Okay. You know, if any of this stuff rubs you the wrong way, maybe stay away because these things have a big important role in this storyline. So would I recommend this book if you grew up reading Wattpad? Yes. This and the rest of the books, really, this whole series. If you grew up reading Wattpad, you would enjoy this series. You would. Do with that information what you will. The second book in the series is Twisted Games. I don't have the physical copy with me right now because I already shipped it off for someone else to read. It follows Bridget and Reese, which, okay, hold on. Reese's character's name spelled like this, and I was reading it like rice the whole time until the end of the book where I was like, how do you pronounce it? Google said Reese. I don't want to talk about it, but that's apparently the correct way. Bridget is the princess of this country named Eldora. She's second in line to the throne, but she currently lives in DC, trying to live a normal life with her friends who she met through college. She's very well poised, well mannered, she's smart, but she's always resented being second in line for the throne because she feels like there's always a microscope on her in her life, and she's just trying to be as normal as possible. So that being said, she always has a personal bodyguard on her because she's out of the country, so she always has someone looking out for her. And her current bodyguard, Booth, his name's Booth, he has to go because his wife's having a baby, whatever. So she gets assigned a new bodyguard. In comes Reese. Reese is like this broody ex-Navy SEAL guy, tatted up. He like is super serious about everything, takes everything to like the next level, is like overbearing, controlling, and she's like, you're literally so agitating, I can't even stand you. At some point, Bridget's older brother abdicates the throne for love because there's like a rule in Eldora that you can't marry anyone who's not blue-blooded of like royal descent. He falls in love with his flight attendant and basically he's like, oh, I give up the throne because I want to marry this chick. So she's now on this fast pass track to becoming the queen because the current king is having health issues, which is her grandfather, and we follow Reese and Bridget through that. This was a good book. This was a good book in the series. I rated Twisted Games 4 out of 5 stars. This is my second favorite book in the series. I could not put it down the whole time. I don't know if you resonate with this, but I was so obsessed and sucked into this world that I was at work, literally working, not here, not present at all. I was like blacked out. So the themes for this book: forbidden romance, I hate everyone in the world but you, brash guy, good girl, one of us is famous, political games, sneaking around, hate to love, women in power. The pros in my perspective are, it was a quick and easy read just like the first one. Not a lot of stuff that Reese said made me cringe at all, if I'm honest. I think that out of all of the books, Reese is the character of all the guys that made me cringe the least, actually. Smut was good. I can't lie to you, I would be doing a disservice to you if I did not tell you that the smut was good. So, cons, okay? The only con is that Miss Anna depicted Reese as having longish hair that brushed his shoulders. I am not attracted at all in any way, shape, or form to men who have long hair. It is not an attractive physical quality to me. I literally had to give my brain road rash and remove that idea from my head. So I imagined Reese with like this not shaggy, but like curly mullet situation. I'll put it up on the screen the whole time because I could not deal with imagining him having long hair. Like, it was giving me, like, it was making me gag. So that's my only con for the book. I wish that that wasn't real. So again, disclaimer, there is smut in this book. If you don't like smut, don't read the series, period. This smut was more up my alley. I don't know if that's saying too much about me. It was nicely woven into the book too. Like, it didn't feel like forced. It didn't feel jumpy. It didn't feel like the author was just putting in a smut scene. If it was nicely woven in. Trigger warnings for this book. Would I recommend this book? Yes. This book made me sit up in the middle of the night while I was reading. This book made me giggle. This book made me literally... Yeah. Okay, the third book in the series. The third and almost last, Twisted Hate. Oh, now, I gave this book 2.5 out of 5 stars. I almost want to leave it at that because I don't want to turn you away. I don't want to turn you off to the series just because there is one book that is questionable. This book follows Josh and Jules. So Josh is Ava's brother. Ava is the girl from the first book. Jules is Ava's best friend. They have a big history of bickering, hating each other, like they never get along. They always butt heads in their friend group, and everybody's always trying to play mediator between them because they just bring the vibe down so hard because they hate each other. He thinks she's not a good influence on Ava. She thinks he's like disgusting and like cocky and like repulsive. They end up in some forced proximity moments in this book, and it kind of like shows that they have kind of a soft side for each other. Jules has a secret past that she doesn't want anyone to know about, like not even her friends know. Josh is dealing with some serious daddy issues, which you kind of find out about in the first book. So this kind of follows them navigating that. Jules is also trying to get into law school, and Josh is completing his residency years in the ER, so he's like on the in the medical field. There's less of a plot to this book, if I'm honest, than the other three. It's almost like no plot except for relationship, which is fine, but I wasn't that enthralled with it. Themes are best friend's brother, enemies more like haters to lovers, traumatic past, both parties are ambitious, learning to trust, popular boy, popular girl, friends with benefits, close proximity, and there is a one bed trope in this book. So, pros for this book. The best part about this book for me was that we got to see more of Alex and Ava. Banter is on 1,000. That was my favorite part about this book. Cons. I cringed a lot. This is the book that made me cringe the most out of all 4 books. Storyline felt forced, as well as the characters felt really shallow. Like, it kind of almost felt like, okay, everyone's getting together, they're the last 2 pieces on the board, I guess we'll put them together, kind of thing, you know? The smut in this book is not good, which means there's no smut in this book. Does that make sense? Nothing gave me butterflies. Trigger warnings. Okay, trigger warnings for this book. Would I recommend this book? I mean, yes. If you're reading the series, it's worth reading it, because if not, you're gonna have this like gaping hole of what happened to these characters. You don't lose anything by reading it, I mean, other than a little bit of a brain cell. Was I grasping at the end pages, wanting there to be more? No. I actually was kind of hoping it'd be over sooner. Worst book in the series? Yes. But I still ate it up. Alright. The time has come. The 4th and final book in this series. Twisted Lies. Okay, if you can't tell, this book is my favorite in the series. I gave it 4.5 out of 5 stars. Almost gave it 5, but it wasn't there. It wasn't there. This book follows Stella Alonso and Christian Harper. Stella Alonso is like this public figure. She's like almost like an influencer. She's got this blog. She works at a magazine. She's very in tune with the fashion world. That's what she wants to do with her life. Kind of giving like Carrie Bradshaw vibes. She keeps to herself, but she's ambitious. Christian is a computer genius, like hacker. He creates systems from nothing. He's also the CEO of this Fortune 500 company for security systems. So he offers like bodyguarding. So he's like dangerous but very guarded, and he's very serious about his digital footprint. He's like known for having this explosive but silent temper. He's just like someone that everyone's kind of scared of. Stella and Christian end up in this forced proximity when she finds herself kind of in like a very dangerous situation, but he's been kind of like drawing her in slowly before that. So it's so good. It's so good. They also end up fake dating for both of their benefits at some point, so that was also a very good point in the plot. So she, at some point, she's like scared he can't commit and he doesn't believe in love, so we kind of follow them throughout their relationship, situationship thing. Themes in this book: I hate everyone in the world but you. Billionaire CEO, trauma bonding, touch her and you die kind of sitch. Fake dating, one of us is lying, bad boy, good girl. Very good book. Have I said that enough already? I don't know. Pros for this book: very few cringe springs throughout this little environment. I did cringe a couple times, and nothing enough to make me turn away from this being my favorite book. I felt very confident in the characters, and the characters honestly like got better and better and better, as well as the storyline the more I read, which is like fun to like, that's interesting to look back on a book and realize that it actually got better and better and better the more you read. I feel like that's a rare feeling to feel. And I saw a lot of character growth within these 2 characters throughout the book too. Cons: I didn't like that this was the last book in the series. I didn't like that I had to wait 4 books to be able to enjoy this storyline, but you know what? I'm not complaining, I'm just pointing it out because I am doing pros and cons for every story. Disclaimer, for the smut, obviously there is a lot of smut in this book. It's nothing crazy, but it's very descriptive. I feel like this book was the most descriptive when it came to the smut. So again, I don't know, there's like a thing around smut these days, so I don't want to misguide you. Trigger warnings. Okay, these are the trigger warnings for the book. Would I recommend? Yes. Favorite book out of the whole series. I cannot complain. If you're going to read any book out of these, you know, it's just like, it's too good. You can read them as a standalone, but you kind of get these gaping holes in this universe if you don't read the whole series. It's worth the read. I feel like the only book I felt like I had to push through was Twisted Hate, the 3rd book, Josh and Jules' book. But it wasn't that bad. Like, it genuinely wasn't that bad. I devoured it so quickly. I think I read this whole series in 2 weeks. Comment down below if you've read the series and you feel like I've missed anything. I'm going to upload another video next week, the spoiler review pretty much, because I have a lot of stuff to say. And it's all spoilers, and it's all me being very extremely dramatic and passionate at the same time, because not only did this series burrow itself under my skin, I feel like I will never forget it. Even though it didn't change my life, I feel like I will never forget this series. Yeah, this was my spoil-free review of the series, because I feel like while I was wanting to read the series, I did buy all the books. My camera light My camera's about to die. Okay, wait, let me wrap this up. God, I feel like I could not find a good enough spoiler-free review to like push me towards reading this series, so I hope this did that for you. Thank you for watching. I'm gonna go because my camera's about to die.